On everyone on the PlayStation Network community and who also know me on my YouTube channel, just as Pros Brother. I am making this live stream basically off of slowly reading everything and watching several different videos, and then after, of course, watching on the news when it was live on the news until they no longer was showing it. When the FBI director Comey was being asked questions about why he changed his mind on not indicting Hillary Clinton after he said there is more than enough evidence to indict her. Okay, I watched the news. I was paying very close attention to what they were saying to him. I noticed how they kept asking him over and over and over, FBI Director Comey, how if there was any type of outside inferences that have told him like not to indict her, and he kept saying no. But eventually he slipped, and he did say that some members of Congress were involved. Okay, so we already knew that there's people in Congress that are backing up Hillary and that's been pulling some strings. We already knew that. Alright, it's obvious. But he ended up slipping on that. Okay? And then he was asked the question very, very specifically, the fact that if it was anyone else, would they be charged? Like, if it was anyone in the FBI, if they did the exact same thing, having a private email server, having private devices, with mishandling classified information. He's like, would they be in trouble? He said, oh, absolutely, they would be in trouble. And also, if you're lying under oath, that is up to like about 9 years in prison. Okay, now here's what I noticed, a statement that I found online when Comey was being questioned, and repeatedly cited statements made by Clinton to the public, which Comey would then confirm were false or inaccurate. Okay, and it was Trey Cody with the RSC, a former prosecutor and grill FBI director James Comey during the House hearing on Thursday of over whether he could demonstrate intent. And remember, Comey kept saying that like there was no proof of intent on why she had a private email server. There was no intent of her mishandling classified information, and that there was no intent that she deliberately had her emails deleted to the point to where they couldn't even recover over half of them. Now, if that's not enough intent to lie and cover it all up, then I don't know what intent is, and obviously he doesn't know what intent is either. But anyways, here are some of the things that were being said. Okay, Secretary Clinton said that there was nothing marked classified on her emails or either sent or received. Like, he was asked if that is true. Comey replied, that's not true. There were a small number of portion markings. I think there, according to him, he was saying there were 3 of the documents. Now, he's saying 3 after when he was saying that there's more than enough proof to indict her, that there was over 300 documents, emails, that were marked, had the little markings as classified, and even at the top that were shown as classified, and that there was proof in emails that Hillary was asking for classified information to be sent to her as unclassified. Now that is even more intent right there, asking for classified information to be marked as unclassified and everything. But they're saying for the little markings on that didn't have classified at the top, there are little markings that still showed that they were classified. It was like a C and some other stuff and everything. And Corey noticed that, and he pointed out that the fact that those were still on there shows that it was intended and was intentional. In other words, pretty much intent, that they deliberately put that markings on there to show that it was a classified information, and the fact that that was sent shows that they intentionally meant to send it like that. And Comey had to reply like, well, there's no evidence to show that was intentional, and then therefore again, Crowley repeated the fact that you have to go out of your way to add that period, C period, and classify everything else to show it as another way of it being as classified information. And Comey finally acknowledged, like, yes, like that shows that it was intentional, and that there was no way that they could have mistaken that. Okay, now but back to what was being said. Um, Secretary Clinton said, "I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. What that was that true?" Comey replied, "That was classified material email that there was." Secretary Clinton said that she used just one device. Was that true? Comey replied, she used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State. Question. Secretary Clinton said that all work-related emails will return to the State of Department. Was that true? Comey replied, no, we found work-related emails, thousands of them, that were not returned. Watch the list of hairy lies below. Then Comey stated that he wouldn't go through any more of the false statements due to the interest of time, but he also, during the end of that time, he made it very clear, if Hillary Clinton or if she or if the other candidate running for president, which would be Bernie Sanders or Donald J. Trump, if they went and did the exact same thing in the exact same order that Hillary Clinton did, would they or she be indicted if the exact same thing happened again? And Comey asked if he would repeat that question, so he gladly repeated the question, and he said, if the next president of the United States does the exact same thing of setting up a private email server in their basement, mishandling classified information, and then being asked to hand over all emails, and then intentionally, deliberately deleting all the emails again, would they be in trouble if it was the next president? And he says, and therefore it would be technically he can't do anything because he may admit it, like they tried to get the current president fired and it has failed because you can't fire the president apparently. Well, I'm pretty sure if it was anyone else besides Obama, like if it was maybe Bush or someone else, like, yeah, they'll get fired real quick. Okay, but Comey immediately replied, like, if she did the exact same thing again in the exact same order, he said, no, there will be no indictment and there will be no prosecution. Now, what does that say right there? He made specifically clear if the next president, notice he was naming Donald J. Trump, Bernie Sanders, and Hillary Clinton, and Comey immediately says, oh, if she does that again, there will be no indictment, and so we're not getting in trouble. In other words, she basically can do whatever the fuck she wants and not get in trouble for it. Okay, because Comey was talking about being fair and everything, but yet when he was asked by several other people on how if anyone else, if it was not Hillary Clinton, who should know way better, being a former first lady, being a former Secretary of State of Defense, or wherever else he's been, and handling all this classified information and knowing what would be classified and what would not be classified, and how she still did all of this. They found it amazing on how he said, like, oh no, she won't get in trouble, but if it was anyone else, there would be extreme measures of punishment. So that kind of says a lot right there. I'm going to play a video real quick so you can hear it. Someone's being retarded. Alright, hold on. Well, I lost it. It's not wanting to play now. Okay, well, while I'm looking for that, it was also brought up on the person, I don't remember his name, but who did far less of a crime than Hillary, who just had a private email server. He wasn't even using no classified information or anything. He just had an email, private email server, and how he got 9 years in prison. He was sent to prison for a far less crime than Hillary Clinton. Also, it was noticed that if you lie while you're under oath, that is also a crime, and that you could get sentenced years in prison. Another thing that is also suspicious about all this was after Comey said there's enough evidence to indict Hillary Clinton, there was that supposedly secret meeting between the former President Bill Clinton and the Attorney State General of the Justice Department, and how they had that meeting. And then shortly after that meeting, which was on Saturday, Hillary volunteered to go and in front of all the other um, I would say witnesses, but all the other suspects that were going to be questioned. She volunteered to go in front of them, that way they couldn't be questioned. And then, so that right there was showing that like she was protecting them and keeping them from talking. Because once you talk to your main suspect, you cannot question anyone else. Okay, so that's also was deliberately, and also it was brought up while Comey was being questioned. Was Hillary Clinton under oath while she was being questioned, and if Comey was there? Comey replied like, "No, I was not there." She was being interrogated by like 3 or maybe 5 other FBI agents, and she was not under oath. Now, what does that say right there? One, the guy who was in charge of the investigation and who's supposed to be there and investigating her and questioning her was not there. He was somewhere else, basically jerking his dick off, probably. Okay, so that's suspicious. Suspicious that she was not under oath. Okay, and then Comey was asked if did he talk to the FBI agents that questioned Hillary Clinton. He said like, no, I only talked to maybe 1 or 2 of them, and I went by what they told me, and therefore it was conclusive that there would be no punishment or indictment to take place. Now, what does that say right there? He went by what 2 people said while she was not under oath, and then asked the other 3. Okay, so that was bullshit. But anyways, it pretty much came down to after the House Representatives, after they looked into the case and they're demanding for all the evidence, and they're seeing how Hillary Clinton has lied multiple times in the public and while under oath, which is a serious crime, that there's more than enough evidence to indict her with just that, and plus to send her to pre-jury. So the fact that all these events have happened with him saying like, oh, we're going to indict her, the secret meeting happened, she goes ahead scheduling from all the other suspects that were supposed to be questioned and was not under oath, then all of a sudden coming saying like there's not enough evidence, this was not a pre-arranged speech or anything, this is what I'm just saying, that there's no insufficient evidence showing intent, what she did, and that even though he said how she miserably mishandled her emails and classified information, but yet saying like, oh, but we're not going to prosecute her or indict her, so therefore like nothing's going to be done. And then he just walks off, and then when he gets questioned on Thursday, he goes and slips and stumbles and shows that like there's more than enough evidence to indict her, especially with the fact that she's been lying while under oath, been lying in the public to the public, and the fact that there was more than enough proof that she intentionally intended to delete her emails on her server, to where the fact they couldn't really be recovered. So that's like more than enough what they need to basically just throw her in jail and throw away the keys. Honestly, in my opinion, she needs a bullet to the head, in my opinion, but that's not going to happen, and she's more likely not going to get prosecuted, because she's going to pull some major strings to prevent that from happening. This type of person she is, that's how crooked she is. Okay, but also shortly after Thursday, Russia's President Putin tweets out release all of your emails immediately, all the evidence, or I will spill the beans on the information I have received from you. So that right there is a little interesting, how Russia's president Putin is saying that he has basically dirt on Hillary Clinton on information that she has sent him. So to me, that's very interesting. I'm curious to see where that goes or how far that goes. Also, if you get the book Clinton's Cash, there's a lot of information in there on all the scams that the Clintons have been doing and how they get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do 1 hour at a fundraiser to give a speech for an hour, and they get paid all this money. Okay, so like, and here they're supposed to be like for the people, but yet they're charging the people like, oh, you want me to give a speech for this or that? Like, you gotta pay me this much. I kind of have like way too many videos. Trying to find out one where Comey is being questioned. Hmm. I'm still looking, people. It's supposed to be right here in my history, and it's not. Okay, here we go.
There was nothing marked classified on her emails either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true. There were a small number of portion markings on, I think, 3 of the documents.
Secretary Clinton said I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
No, there was classified material emailed.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
Secretary Clinton said neither she nor anyone else deleted work-related emails from her personal account. Was that true?
That's a harder one to answer. We found traces of work-related emails. There's no doubt that there were work-related emails that were removed electronically from the email system.
Okay, so right there, that's more than enough proof of intent. And Comey kept saying that there was no proof of intent. And everything, that it was just all accident. So, therefore, he's covering for her and more likely been bought off. Like, a lot of people think he's been bought off. Some others believe that he may have been threatened. If he goes and continues to prosecute her, that he might disappear mysteriously, like a lot of other people who have gone against Hillary. Okay, and then there's also the fact of the Attorney General of the Justice Department and how that secret meeting between her and Bill Clinton, and that she went and told FBI Director Comey to not indict Hillary Clinton and to close the case immediately. Okay, but with all this new information on how she obviously been lying, the case is reopened and they are going to get everything they need to send her in front of a pre-jury, and they're going to make sure that she does get punished. At least that's what they're going to try to do. But of course, Hillary Clinton is very corrupted and crooked, and she'll more likely buy off people like she has been doing for all that. But that's basically for this live streaming of the FBI Director Comey case about Hillary Clinton. It's major bullshit on what happened, how he says they're going to indict her. There's more than enough evidence. Then everything that happened during that week led to the following week of him saying there's not enough evidence, even though she has miserably mishandled classified information, but they're not going to indict her. Like, it was just pure bullshit. And if you watched the news on Thursday when it was live of him being questioned, I watched it for hours as they were questioning him, and it was very interesting. I noticed how he kept mentioning how, like, if it was anyone else, they would be in trouble. But since it's her, it's like, oh, we need to treat her fairly. But if it was anyone else, they would be in trouble. So that says a lot right there. I'm going to end this. So for all you Democrats out there, like, seriously, like, don't vote for Hillary Clinton. You need to vote for someone, then I guess we'll go vote for Bernie Sanders. But even Bernie Sanders, he still supports Hillary Clinton, because even he said, like, oh, well, it was a fair deal, so, like, whatever. But y'all have a good night. Don't vote for Hillary or Bernie Sanders, because a lot of Bernie supporters are starting to move over and are starting to support Donald J. Trump.